Joins us, he is a Bloomberg Business Week senior writer, and he's out with a brand new book. The book is called The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon. Brad Stone, welcome to Big 550 KTRS.
Hi, McGraw. Thanks for having me.
Everybody's been on Amazon. I think everybody in the world's either purchased something on Amazon or at least looked at Amazon. Your book is, I cannot put this book down. Let's start with this. Who is Ted Jorgensen?
That is a good place to start. So the CEO of Amazon is, of course, Jeff Bezos. You know, one of the most interesting, driven, relentless, ruthless men in business right now. And, you know, like a lot of these guys, and for that matter, politicians, President Obama, President Clinton, athletes like Lance Armstrong, the circumstances of his birth are a little unusual. He never knew his biological father. And as I started out to tell this story, I always thought that would be, a good puzzle piece to fill in. And went and tracked him down. Yep, his name was Ted Jorgensen, and he's running a bike shop outside of Phoenix. And to my and his astonishment, when I went and walked into a store, he had no idea who Jeff Bezos was. And I just recount that story in the book of having to fill in for him what had happened to his biological son.
Did he give him up for adoption, or did the girl never tell him he was pregnant, or what happened?
Nope. They were, I guess, Bezos' biological parents were married for 3 years, and then they split up. And then she remarried, and they moved, and he basically agreed to stay out of their lives to his great regret later in life. And he didn't know their new last name, and he had always wondered what had happened to them. And it turns out I kind of filled in the missing pieces as I walked into a store last year.
That is truly amazing. Hey, by the way, your son is Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
The book is called The Everything Store, and the thing that I find fascinating about Jeff Bezos, and you kind of touch on this in the book, Brad, and that is during the dot-com bust, Jeff Bezos was really the only CEO who said, look, it's going to take a while. I'm still losing money. Hold your horses. This is going to work, and it turned out he was right.
He proved everyone else wrong because, nobody believed in him back then. And the share price, I don't know if you remember, it went from probably about 110 in 2000 to about 6 months later, 9 months later. And he was a piñata, and they were losing, and probably for good reason. They had grown too quickly. They were losing a ton of money. They lost over $1 billion in 2000. And for years, Amazon was... pretty much nobody believed in it, and Amazon's stock price was lower than eBay's, and, it was kind of considered to be one of the worst business models on the Internet. And then, gradually, and by inventing new things like the Kindle Reader and something called Amazon Web Services, which companies kind of use to run their computer operations on Amazon servers, and, Bezos fought his way back, and now he's pretty much uttered in the same breath as Steve Jobs. It's really a remarkable story.
What's the price now of Amazon?
Well, probably more than we can afford. But the company is valued at $170 billion. It's many times. I just love to use eBay as a benchmark because they were the earliest competitor. But now Amazon's many times the value of eBay. I mean, Amazon went and pretty much figured out its business, figured out how to put the fulfillment centers all around the country and to deliver a reliable experience in the mail. Stuff that eBay never figured out, kind of that hard aspect of e-commerce. And as a result, it's now seen as one of the big internet juggernauts today.
Not only can you buy books, but you can buy new books, you can buy used books, you can buy brand new table saws, you can buy used table saws. Do people sell their stuff on eBay too? Or Amazon?
On Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and look, that's why I call it the everything store, right? They've kind of mashed up all these different aspects of retail. Amazon will sell you the product, but then if you look over on the right side of the page, there's a little marketplace, they call it, for third-party sellers, and that might be an individual. More likely on Amazon, it's probably a small business. And it's actually pretty good for customers, but it's also what makes Amazon so scary. Because you're clustering all these different sellers on one page, as you can imagine, think of it like two gas stations across the street from each other, you get price wars, and it drives the prices of products down. And what we see, what happens in those kinds of situations, manufacturers find it hard to stay in business, or they move jobs overseas. And it's why Amazon is partly loved and partly feared.
Yeah. How much did Jeff Bezos help you with this?
He's a secretive guy. He like a lot of retailers, they prefer to kind of keep to themselves. But I feel like I got farther with them than other journalists have in the past. He let me talk to friends and family members. I've probably talked to him a dozen times over the past decade as I've covered Amazon for various news publications. And I think there was a recognition there that it was a great story, one of the best business stories of the age, and that the kind of time had come to tell it.
The book is called The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon, Brad Stone. Talk about the e-reader fight for a moment, because that's still going on strong. Where is Amazon with that now?
Right. I mean, we think of Amazon as the company that changed shopping, but it's changed reading as well. Back in 2007, 2008, they brought the publishing world, the book world, kind of kicking and screaming into the digital age with the Kindle. And the publishers were excited about it until they figured out that Amazon wanted to just charge $10 for every ebook, and which it makes sense as a price, but the problem is if you're as a publisher, you want to also sell to the mom and pop bookstores that can't discount in that same way. You're going to be putting some of your retail partners out of business. So they fought Amazon on that. It's a convoluted story that I describe in the book. But they went and they did a deal with Apple to try to raise their prices, and then the Justice Department got involved. And Amazon's sitting there on the sidelines and actually kind of won. The Justice Department ruled against Apple and said that they had unfairly raised prices, and now Amazon's free to go and discount ebooks all you want. And it's why so many bookstores and publishers in the book world fear Amazon, because they've got a pretty big footprint and they like to lower prices.
Yeah, and they pay authors less if you buy the ebook, if you buy the book. But what's more fascinating, Brad, is that the guy's married to a writer.
That's true, and a good writer. Her novels are great, Mackenzie Bezos. And also telling is that she publishes not with Amazon, but she has her own traditional, big book publishers. So, Amazon, it's another thing they're doing. They're self-publishing authors, and they're trying to recruit big authors. But yeah, Jeff Bezos' own wife, it's a delicious irony, has gone the traditional route. So who knows if there's some internal family tension there.
It's a great story and a great book. The Everything Store, Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon. Brad Stone with Business Week, with Bloomberg, I should say. Brad, thanks for checking in. Have a good day. Good luck with the book.
Thank you, McGraw.
You got it. 7:58 here on the Big 550.